All right, hello and welcome to everybody to our continuing series of web seminars highlighting the training and certification programs offered by the RV Learning Center. We're glad you could join us today. I'm Dave Horn, the Education Program Manager for the RV Learning Center. As we start off, I'm going to walk through some housekeeping items, then I'll give a quick overview of the RV Learning Center, and finally I'll turn it over to our feature presenter. We have a lot to cover in the next 30 minutes, so let's get started. A few brief housekeeping items. If you are having trouble viewing or listening to the seminar, please refer to the email you received when you registered. This seminar will be recorded and posted on the RV Learning Center's website early next week. There will be opportunities to ask questions throughout and at the end of the presentation. At that time, if you'd like to ask a question, you may type your question in the GoToWebinar control panel, or if you are listening via the phone conference line, please click the raise hand button so that you may be unmuted. Later today, you'll receive a survey via email. Please take a few minutes to fill out this survey, as the information provided will greatly help us in developing future webinars. Also, there will be a comment section that if you would like further information, please fill that out and we will respond back to you as soon as possible. Okay, why are we providing this webinar? A lot of people know about the RV Learning Center, but few people actually know what the RV Learning Center does and the services it provides to dealerships. We'll give some background into the development of the Parts Specialist, Parts Manager training and certification, in addition to providing information on what you may expect to get out of the programs. Also, we'll provide information about additional training resources and opportunities that you may take advantage of. But before we get started, we have a couple of poll questions that we'd like to ask. The first question being, please indicate which option best fits your job description, a dealer general manager or a parts department with primary responsibility for parts specialists or parts managers. And we'll give you a couple of seconds to lock in your answers. Okay, looks like pretty much everybody has their results in, and 100% are parts department. So that will pretty much negate our next question, but we'll go ahead and just put it up there for everyone to see real quick. The question was, if you're a dealer general manager, do you have at least one certified employee, not including technician? Yes or no? But since everyone's parts department, we'll just go ahead and move on. Alrighty. In 2004, leaders of RVDA and the RVDA Education Foundation created the RV Learning Center as a central source of information and training on the RV retailing process. The primary goal of the center is to ensure training and professional development opportunities are available for all positions in an RV dealership. Over the last several years, the center has offered hundreds of educational workshops at the annual RV Dealers International Convention and Expo. The workshops cover each of the major job tracks in the dealership. The RV Learning Center partners with the Ohio State University Center on Education and Training for Employment, otherwise known as CEAT, to develop training and certification programs for dealership employees. Thus far, there is curricula and certification for service managers, service writer advisors, parts managers, parts specialists, and most recently, warranty administrators. Eventually, we will have curriculum-based training for all dealership positions. This 30-minute web seminar offers insight into how the curricula, training materials, and certification tests come about. It focuses specifically on the Parts Specialist Parts Manager program. Our feature presenter for today, Tony Yerman. Tony is an RVDA, RVIA, Master Certified RV Technician, a Certified Service Manager, and a Certified Parts Specialist. He is also a service and estimating consultant to the RV and insurance industries. Tony will guide you through the parts training and certification program offered by the RV Learning Center. Tony, it's all yours.
Thanks, Dave. As Dave mentioned, the RV Learning Center worked with the Ohio State University Center on Education and Training for Employees to develop the curricula for certification programs, including the Parts Specialist Parts Manager program. Over the next 10 minutes, I will take you through the process that's used to document the skills and knowledge needed by a parts specialist, parts manager. It's through this process that the RV Learning Center developed training material and the certification test for the Parts Specialist Parts Manager program. The development process begins with the selection of a demographically diverse group of 5 to 12 occupational experts. They assemble at Ohio State, and over an intensive 2-day period, they identify the general knowledge and skills required of successful workers, the tools, equipment, supplies, and materials needed to be successful. After that, Ohio State did a national task verification. Questionnaires were sent out asking the participants and other dealership occupational experts to rate the importance of each task, the percentage of people who perform the tasks, and how often the task is performed. The third stage of the process was task analysis. This involved teams of 2 or 3 expert workers and a trained analyst who identified the steps for performing a task, the criteria for assessing performance, the tools, equipment, supplies, and materials needed, the knowledge required, any safety concerns, important worker behaviors, and the decisions, cues, and possible errors for each step of each task. The DACOM research chart, or competency profile, is the outcome of these processes. The chart consists of a graphic profile of duties, general areas of competence, and the many tasks, specific, meaningful units of work, that must be performed to be successful. This is important to understand. Every dealership and every manufacturer has its own unique process for parts management and for how the parts specialist parts manager presents and interacts with the customer. No matter what the process, the competencies remain very similar. Learning, understanding, and implementing these competencies is extremely vital in following any given dealership or manufacturer process. The complete DACOM chart contains a list of general areas of competencies called duties and several tasks for each duty. The Parts Specialist Parts Manager DACOM is broken down into 9 duties. The corresponding competencies are run left to right next to each duty. The Parts Manager certification requires the achievement of all 34 competencies, and the Parts Specialist requires 22, which are shaded on the chart you see now. Training materials based on the DACOM is another outcome of the Ohio State Partnership. The training materials are called learning guides. A learning guide is written for each duty. So, for example, the Parts Specialist Parts Manager Learning Guide consists of 9 books, one for each duty identified as you can see on your screen. The guides can be used by an individual or on a small group basis. The printed version can be purchased as a binder, which contains all of the individual books, or by booklet. The CD version contains all of the books in an electronic format. Dave, I'll turn the mic back to you for another quick survey of our audience.
Okay. Another survey question we have here. How do you primarily receive your job-specific training? From your coworkers, from trainers at the dealership, workshops at the RV Dealers International Convention Expo, manufacturer events including shows and web seminars, or RV Learning Center's learning guides? Again, we'll give you a few seconds to lock in your answers.
We remind you again, too, that if you have any questions here during this program, just please submit them. You can do it, I believe, online here in the little chat box, or you can call them in.
All right, Tony, let's go ahead and put the results up. And actually, those are pretty similar to yesterday's seminar, where 50% received their training from their coworkers, and the rest of it spread out with only 0% in manufacturer events.
Now that you have a little better understanding of just how the learning guides and certification tests are developed, and you can see how the partnership with Ohio State and the RV Learning Center has created the curricula and training materials, we'll move on. We'll now discuss some of the specific duties, tasks, and competencies of a parts specialist, parts manager, as identified by the panel of experts. We begin with merchandising the store. Developing the store and merchandising layout is critical in creating a pleasant, comfortable buying atmosphere for the customer. Both the parts manager and specialist have tasks necessary to setting up and running a profitable parts store. Store maintenance must be recognized and performed in order to keep customers comfortable and confident about shopping at your store. People don't like to see parts displays in disarray and parts scattered about. They like a clean, up-to-date store, which also reflects the overall quality of the entire dealership. The parts manager must conduct periodic inspections of the store and direct the parts specialists in setup, care, and maintenance. We all know that the customer expects a high level of care and concern, and the learning guides provide the means to develop the parts specialist, parts manager's skills and abilities in this area. Whether a person is a technician being moved to the position of parts specialist or parts manager, a new hire with little or no RV experience, or a parts specialist, parts manager who has been dealing with customers for years, there's something for everyone. In the second duty, we see that the parts specialist and managers must be knowledgeable in the marketing of the products in the store as well as the store itself. Advertising, promotions, and events are all part of getting the word out and making customers aware of your store and what it has to offer. Having the right products, competitive products, and the right pricing is as important as marketing the products. There are techniques involved with choosing what to sell as well as how to get the right pricing through supplier alliances. Communication between the parts department, the customer, and the suppliers is recognized through the competencies demonstrated in the learning guides. As you can see here, inventory management or inventory control is covered. Maintaining inventory levels and updating inventory is essential in having the part cut when the customer wants it. Without inventory control and an effective ordering process, both the retail customer and shop customer can suffer. The retail customer can be quite disappointed when he has his heart set on buying something and you don't have it. Without parts, the service department can come to a screeching halt. Now there are customers, technicians, and service management people who aren't happy. Theft and pilferage can be experienced anywhere and often is in the parts department. Without control for theft, the inventory is off, and many times accessory items are sold with missing pieces. This does not make for pleasant situations either. Every dealership has its own process of maintaining daily operations. There are many duties involved in this process that may be the responsibility of the parts specialist. The learning guides assist in defining some of these duties and helps develop the skills necessary to understand and accomplish them. The parts specialist provides the customer with a service. Having or getting the parts the customer wants is part of that service. Being knowledgeable about the parts and accessories sold is another service. This provides the customer with the ability to make the right purchase. Parts and accessories can also enhance the sales of vehicles in the dealership. Providing customers with the parts and accessories to give them the full enjoyment of their vehicle brings them back and gives them the confidence that buying from your dealership comes with support. Special ordering parts is a task for the parts specialist and a fact of life in the parts department. So is managing lost part sales. These are sales that are lost for whatever reason: misplaced parts, out-of-stock parts, or improperly numbered parts. The materials provided develop the competencies to sell product and develop good customer service. The competencies and the duties and tasks provided have been developed from years of experience by some of the top people in the country. The parts department is charged with the overall operation and function of the parts department. The parts manager is. Duties E, F, and G are designed to identify and develop competencies required to fulfill the responsibilities of this position. Keeping up with the customer wants and needs, as well as communicating with them and processing the feedback from communications, are skills more expected from a management position. These skills take customer profiles, communication, and feedback and use the information to create a more effective parts and accessory store, which is in touch with the customer. The parts manager is also charged with hiring, firing, and managing parts personnel. The recruiting new employees and recognizing the potential and experience in applicants is important in properly staffing the department. Assigning the proper personnel to the counter, shelf stocking, or to the service department counter is done by the parts manager. He must evaluate and manage employee performance in order to identify and correct any problems and to develop the profitability of the department. There are legal issues involved with parts personnel, such as privacy and safety laws. The parts manager must be knowledgeable of all legal requirements and be sure that each issue is addressed. The learning guides help in developing all of these human resource skills. The parts manager must be able to read and understand several different financial statements and inventory reports. He must be able to create forecasts and budgets based on past and expected performance of his department. These reports demonstrate and develop market trends and strategies for dealing with them. Concerns such as when certain items might sell and when something is not turning as it's supposed to, which help determine what to stock and when to stock it, are considered. Reading, understanding, analyzing, and reconciling or balancing statements are tasks used to evaluate the performance and profitability of the department. The Learning Guide reviews these reports and statements to more clearly identify the use and coordination of the information that these tools provide. As requested by the parts manager, the parts specialist will perform certain administrative duties. Assisting in the development of department operating procedures and troubleshooting parts-related issues which arise on a daily basis are tasks which can be handled by a well-trained parts specialist. The parts specialist is on the front line of the parts department and will need skills to keep things running smoothly and to effectively deal with any problems which arise from customer concerns or supplier situations. The parts specialist will need to be able to quote prices in a timely manner, especially when a customer is standing at the counter or holding on the phone. The creation of a quote book, which allows the parts specialist to easily and quickly quote prices on commonly requested items, is discussed. This and other tasks help the parts specialist in reducing customer waiting time and resulting frustration caused by being on hold or having to stand around while the parts man fumbles through catalogs and price books. Maintaining parts-related equipment, files for orders, customers, and inventory items is necessary for quick response to customer requests and inquiries. Maintaining a well-kept parts library keeps the parts specialist up to date on what's new and what's available. It also creates a good quick reference when looking for parts which may or may not be in stock items. Other administrative tasks, which might include price checking, display inspection, or order follow-ups, are also covered in the Learning Guide with effective lessons on accomplishing these tasks. Learning and professional development is an ongoing process which requires the attention of each individual in each department. Business practices change. Manufacturers produce new and more complex products. Customers expect more from the products they purchase and the people who provide them. The Parts Specialist Parts Manager Learning Guide gives thoughts and ideas for professional development. It helps the Parts Specialist Parts Manager develop a game plan for staying on top of his or her game and giving the customer reason to have confidence in their advice and recommendations. A goal of any process that provides one is the certification. Certification and the certificate that recognizes that learning experience is the way we demonstrate and prove to our customers that we are knowledgeable in our field and worthy of their trust and confidence. The certification test is a method used to obtain the certificate, and this testing has been carefully prepared from the information in the Learning Guide through the efforts of the RV Learning Center and Ohio State University. The certificate, and even more importantly, the education which it recognizes, is important and valuable to the employee as an individual and to the dealership he or she represents to the customer. Why get certified? What are some of the tangible reasons why you should encourage your employees to seek certification, or you should get certified? It raises organizational quality. It improves customer satisfaction, creates competitive advantage, validates partnership qualifications, rewards employee expertise. It illustrates training return on investment, provides objective benchmarks, increases employee satisfaction, and decreases employee error. I know we've covered a lot in the last 20 minutes or so. We're going to pause now and give you some time to ask some questions. While you're asking some questions here, did you know that the RV Learning Center has free online certification tests for parts specialist, parts manager? These are readiness tests. That's right, free readiness tests to help you evaluate your preparedness to take and pass the actual certification test and to evaluate one's strengths and weaknesses. Simply go to www.rvlearningcenter.com and follow the link under Education Resources located on the RV Learning Center homepage to the Certification Readiness Test. In order to become certified, one must meet a time and department eligibility requirement. For the parts specialist, you must have at least 1 year of departmental experience, and the parts manager must have 2 years of departmental experience. To take the certification test, again, follow the links from www.rvlearningcenter.com under the Parts tab to certification. Halfway down the page, under Test Information, located within the first bullet point, click on the Click Here prompt to go to the test application and fee information. The test fee for Parts Specialist is $199, and for the Parts Manager, the fee is $249. Your certification will be valuable for a period of 5 years. But again, we do have free online readiness tests. The Learning Guide for Parts Specialist Manager can also be purchased online at the Learning Center website by following the link under Parts tab by clicking on Order Products. The cost for the entire Learning Guide is $399.
And
Any questions yet?
No, Tony, but just real quick, I am going to show individuals how to access it from the website here real quick. Now, this can either go really well or completely blow up in my face. Okay. And let me make sure everyone's seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. From the website, to access the readiness test, here in the educational resources section, the very first item you'll see is certification readiness test. Just click on the link. And it will bring you up to the certification readiness test page. The readiness tests that we do have available are Parts Manager, Parts Specialist, Service Manager, Service Writer Advisor, and Warranty Administrator. If any of you have previously used these, you knew that you could access it directly from this page. We have new procedures now that if you would like to take a certification test, you can either call or just email, provide the information, such as your name, dealership email, and we will email you the information you need. For certification test information, again, just go to the Parts tab, to the drop-down, go to Certification. This page will give you a brief outline of what the certification program and all is about. You can click here for the DACM chart, and let's see, make sure, and then for application fee information down here at the bottom, just click that, and it'll bring up an application form that you can fill out and fax back in, and we'll send you all the information you need. And let me get us back here. Okay.
The learning guides, of course, are not the only option to get training. The RV Training Calendar, located at www.rvtrainingcalendar.com, shows the schedule and description of all industry training and facilitates registration through web links. Please take a moment to answer this question. Select a response that most closely captures why you are interested in Parts Specialist, Parts Manager training and certification.
We'll give you all a few seconds to lock in your answers again while we're waiting for everyone to answer. If you have any questions, please ask us. We will not hesitate, I promise. Okay, looks like everyone's got their answers in, so let's go ahead and share those results. And, oh, someone snuck right in there at the last minute. 60% strengthen company credibility and 40% improve operational readiness.
Certifying employees is one of the key recommendations of the Committee on Excellence Task Force report to improve overall customer satisfaction and loyalty within the RV industry. The RV Learning Center offers nationally recognized professional certification programs that support career advancement and professionalism. Well, no questions yet, Dave?
Nope. Doesn't appear that we have any.
We must be doing a really good job. Well, that ends today's web seminar. Thanks to all of you who participated. We're glad you could join us and hope the session was helpful for you. If you missed any portion of today's seminar, you will be able to access a recording of at the RV Learning Center's website in the next day or two. Also, just a reminder that you'll get an evaluation via email later today. Please take a few minutes to complete it. When it arrives, it'll help us improve our web seminars. Contact us if we could be of additional assistance. Please feel free to contact either Dave or myself about what the RV Learning Center has available to help your dealership or your own training needs. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks again, everybody. Unless anybody has a last-minute question they want to answer, please feel free to log out, and have a good day.